Get the upper hand on your competition with SCUF controllers. Use code OGXRAYZ to get 5% off your entire order. Yo guys, what's up? It's XRAYZ. Welcome back to another Black Ops 4 Zombies video. Now, today we're going to be talking about some possible huge spoilers here for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies, and then specifically there's some info here on Blood of the Dead. So I want to go ahead and jump into this information. If you guys do go on to enjoy the video, then obviously make sure you guys do drop a like on the video. It's super appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, if you want to see even more Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies content, then obviously make sure you guys are subbed and have notifications on. I'm actually working on a brand new Behind the Horror video that should be coming out in about a week. We'll see when the time frame is, but I already have it planned out, so make sure you guys are subbed and notifications on so you don't miss it. And for you guys that don't know what that series is, check out that playlist because we go super in-depth on the storyline and the real-life inspirations for some of those maps. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this information. Obviously, if you don't want to be spoiled, click off the video. It would still be appreciated if you did drop a like before you left, but you don't have to. So again, if you don't want spoilers, possible spoilers, click off the video. Now let's go into the info, and this is actually posted earlier than the reveal trailer. We got the Chaos trailer that everyone saw. This was posted before that trailer went live, so it gives it a little bit of legitimacy, but again, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know if this is legit or if maybe this guy got lucky, but it's a lot to be lucky with, so I'm leaning towards this being possible real legit info. So anyways, jump into it. The first bullet point, the Chaos crew, which is the crew that we saw in the trailer. And again, pretty interesting that he used Chaos and was the exact same name of the trailer, so pretty insane. But it's the crew we're going to see in 9 and then also Voyage of Despair. So Voyage of Despair and 9 are both going to be the maps, and the crew is called Chaos. So the Chaos crew has a set of special weapons which can be equipped before the match begins. Treyarch teased this weapon on May 17th. And it was basically an image that they tweeted out. I'll put the image on screen for you guys to check out as a reference. Now, while each character has a weapon pertaining to them, any character can equip any weapon. Note, these are not the official names of the weapons. So we have the sword for Shaw, for Scarlet we have a staff, for Diego we have a harpoon plus disc, and for Bruno we have a hammer. And most of that stuff was seen as well in the actual trailer. So we saw the disc, we saw the sword, we saw the hammer. So we'll see if there's even more to this, but it does look like most of that was legit that he got right. The next part says the Primis crew also has their name set of special weapons which function the same as the Chaos crew. So Primis is going to have their own set as well. The Primis crew's special weapons are a bit more subject to change, as Richtofen's DG5s are named as such, but do not function exactly like the DG4s from Black Ops 3. Dempsey's minigun currently uses the minigun model from the previous game. So these are the 4 specialist abilities or specialist weapons that each one will have. Richtofen will have a Ragnarok DG5s. Dempsey will have a minigun, Nikolai will have a flamethrower, and Takia will have a katana. So all those seems like perfectly in line with what you would see each one of them using, so I'm actually very excited to see that. But man, I'm super pumped for that. So now he goes on to information about Blood of the Dead. So this is the juicy stuff you guys have been waiting for. We got Blood of the Dead. In the intro cinematic, the Primis crew enters the prison through a hole in a wall. Richtofen from the Zombies comic gives the Primis crew a set of blood vials and then leaves. So there's going to be a separate Richtofen who shows up, who is from the comics books, and he's going to pop up here, and he's going to meet up with this other Primis Richtofen. So it says, meanwhile, Primis Richtofen is holding a portal to leave the prison, which ends up being closed by Brutus before the crew can escape. The Chronorium also makes a slight appearance in the cinematic. Blood of the Dead, in this remake, the map is noticeably bigger than the original Mob of the Dead, featuring both new and old sections. Players spawn into the cryostasis lab. Opening the first door reveals that you are on the side of the prison that was not in the original. There is a path from the cryostasis lab to the docks. So for you guys that are wondering, well, what the hell is the cryostasis lab? Well, this was actually a lab that was revealed in the comic books, which had a whole storyline about the Victus crew, which is the Mob of the Dead, which is the Buried crew, or basically the BO2 crew. That whole crew, they had their whole storyline going in the comic books, and they went to this this special world. They did a whole bunch of stuff for Richtofen, and after that whole thing went through, Richtofen actually put them in cryostasis, similar to what we saw in the Black Ops 3 storyline, where the 4 crew members were basically in the little cryostasis chambers. We saw the same thing in Der Eisendrache, where we saw that Tank Dempsey was inside one of those, and he ended up killing himself. So that's basically what they mean by that. So there's more of those cryostasis tubes, only they're under Mob of the Dead, and they're the ones that Richtofen himself made when he created that lab, and Victus is currently inside of those tubes. So it does look like we're going to be starting off inside of this lab, and I'm actually very excited for that because it was teased a lot in the comic books. Like, they showed it and it looked amazing and it was super cool. So I'm actually kind of pumped to see that we're starting there as opposed to within the cell block. And obviously, if it's going to be featuring Primis crew, then they need to have their own starting area. It can't just be starting off just like Sal DeLuca and all these other guys back in the Mob of the Dead storyline, because they're different characters, different storyline. So obviously they wouldn't start in the same starting room. So I kind of believe this leak in terms of that, where you're starting in a different area that's storyline relevant. And again, if this follows some of the storyline, or is a continuation of the storyline within the comic book, then it would make absolute sense for them to be starting within the cryostasis lab, and then from there proceeding on to the rest of the map. So it looks like you go cryostasis lab onto some sort of pathway that gets you to the docks, that gets you into the actual Alcatraz prison. So very cool. So the last point that he put right on the bottom was the crowd in the stadium for 9. So if you guys saw the trailer, you guys can see the crowd reacting. Well, it says that the crowd in this stadium fluctuates in response to the in-game actions of the players. So if you're kind of training, I would assume it's going to be kind of lulled and bored. But if there's a lot of action going on, a lot of fighting, a lot of shooting, then the crowd is going absolutely crazy in the stadium. So we'll see what ends up happening with that, but we got some pretty awesome leaks. Let me know what you guys think about them. I mean, I'm actually very pumped because there's rumors and theories going around at the moment that Blood of the Dead will actually be a new storyline that is not taking place between Zetsubo and Gorakrovi. So for you guys that are a little bit vague on the storyline, maybe you're just now getting into Black Ops 4 Zombies or Treyarch Zombies, what ends up happening was they went to Zetsubo no Shima to go get Takeao because they needed all the souls of the original crew. So they needed Richtofen, which they got right in the first map, which was the Doris remake. And then they went from there. Richtofen killed himself, collected his soul. They went over to Dreisendrach, where they did Tank Dempsey. Then they did Zetsubo no Shima, which was all Takeao. After Zetsubo, they went over to Gorakrovi, which was Nikolai. And then finally, in the final map, it was like basically all of them mixing into one crazy-ass thing for Revelation. So basically, all these guys, they had like this travel point between Zetsubo and Gorakrovi where they were doing their story, where they disappeared to a portal, and Richtofen basically was insinuating that they were going to Alcatraz to go get the blood vials and basically like have like a backup plan, which we saw at the Revelations and cutscene, where they drank that blood, and now they created some sort of paradox in the timeline, and basically Dr. Monty eliminated them and put them somewhere else completely. So everyone thought this was the theory, that basically you go and you're playing on Alcatraz on Blood of the Dead because it's the storyline that happens between Zetsubo and also Gorakrovi. But it does look like we're actually going to be getting a separate storyline, something completely that deviates completely from it. So maybe this comic book Richtofen comes in here and changes things up. Maybe they were supposed to go do that portal to go back to Gorakrovi, but now we see in the intro storyline that Brutus actually closes that portal. So maybe now the storyline is going to deviate, make its own branch, do something completely different. Because again, like we were saying, normally they would have gone through the portal back and gone back to Zetsubo and then over to Gorakrovi. So it's actually very interesting that now we see that a Brutus from this information closed that portal. So we might actually be seeing a completely new storyline within this, and I'm actually very excited. A new area, it's going to be a lot bigger. I'm super pumped. They didn't really do anything too crazy with the Doris remake. The giant that was in Black Ops 3 was essentially the same thing with a handful of like new like little Easter eggs and stuff. They didn't really do anything massive. They did have new audio quotes, they did have new teasers and Easter egg stuff related stuff, which was awesome, but it was essentially the same map with specialist stuff and like a few little things sprinkled in. But it does look like Mob of the Dead, or this Blood of the Dead remake, will be completely new area. And once again, the guys over at Treyarch were saying that they were super proud of the storyline that they had come up with for Blood of the Dead. So it doesn't seem like it's just something that was thrown together or like some weird side story that happened. Like, it's not just some, like, what do they call them, a filler they call those in anime. So I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's just a filler map that they're doing. I think there's a brand new storyline. They put a lot of time into it, and we'll see whether this splits it into a new storyline, a new timeline, a new dimension, or whatever universe this is going to be. But I don't think this is going to be that same crew that we saw that ended at the hands of Dr. Monty, sending them back to the whole Primis days. So we'll see about that, but I just want to talk to you guys a little bit more about these leaks. Let me know what you guys think about these leaks down in the comment section below. You think they're legit? You think they're fake? Again, this was posted like 5 minutes before the official trailer went live, so I kind of have to guess and assume that this guy is legit because he predicted stuff like actual names and stuff that was in the trailer earlier than the trailer was live, so I kind of have to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, yo, this guy was probably legit. But again, guys, nothing is confirmed unless it is by Treyarch or Call of Duty or Activision, so again, take it with a grain of salt, but it does seem like it's going to be pretty crazy. Blood of the Dead looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and then basically the other info that wasn't Blood of the Dead was stuff we saw in the trailer, so most of the stuff in this video that I'm hyped for is Blood of the Dead, so we'll definitely see about that once the official game is out. And we're so close, man. It's actually kind of crazy how close we are to October. I'm kind of worried. I don't want back to cold months in the winter. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, drop a like, drop a favorite on the video. It's super appreciated and the crew will be helpful. And if you are new to the channel, if you want to see even more content like this, I'm going to have a ton more Fortnite and Call of Duty and Zombies news, info, rumors, leaks, and more coming. So obviously, make sure you guys are subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss a single upload from me. And then also, if you guys do want to support the channel directly, you guys can do so by joining my sponsor squad. You get access to early content, exclusive videos, and a special badge that shows up in all my live streams and in the comment sections of all my videos. So check that out only if you are willing and able to. But anyways, you guys have an amazing day. Take care. If you want to talk about anything, Twitter, best place to talk. I'm constantly on there. Go ahead and give me a follow over there at OGXRAYZ. But you guys have an awesome day. Take care, guys. I'm out. Peace.